Hello, today we're going to talk about syncing your Prismatic Spray II to some kind of other source and getting it to play musically in the context of a composition. Bytebeats, which thrive inside of this little guy here, are pretty wild and chaotic. They don't want to be tamed, and this is one of the ways I've figured out to try and tame them and fit them into something you're working on. So there's two ways to do this. One would be to find an incantation or a byte beat rhythm that you like on here and then get everything else to kind of sync up with it. That's what I'm going to demonstrate today. The other way would be to go reverse. Like you have an existing composition and you're like, oh, okay, I want to use the prismatic spray in this. How do I get it to sync? So we're going to start with the prismatic spray in this demonstration today, and we'll see. So I have a couple other pieces here. This is the Phantasmal Force. This is going to send MIDI clock tempo information to this. This is a Zeptocore. This is going to provide beats at a certain tempo, but this is also going to send a series of notes over to the prismatic spray, and it's going to do that simultaneously with the clock so that we should hear everything in sync, in rhythm, and playing back with some semblance of sanity. So let's start by droning. I'm on incantation number 22. I'm just going to start on a C4. And then I'm going to just kind of search around in here and try and find some weirdness that I like. Okay, that's kind of where we started. Kind of like that. I'm going to press this button here. This is just a note button. So if I press it, it sends a C4 to here. So I also have this guy set to re-trigger that byte beat sequence every time it gets a note. So it's going to start in the same way every time. And I do that by holding the blue shift button and then hitting the yellow button. And that should say MIDI T equals 0, yes. That just said no because I just turned it off. So let's turn it back on. So there we go. Okay, so now let's get a drum sequence going here, and let's see how they line up and see what this means. So I'm going to hit this button. This is going to send a play message to here, and this is going to start playing back. Okay, so we got our drums going there. I'm going to hit play, and then I'm going to hit this C4 and see, are we playing back in sync? No, we are not. So what I need to do is sort of slide the tempo that it's sending to here. So I'm going to go in the menu, and we're going to change the tempo. So there's a BPM setting in here. I'm going to go there. And I've already kind of messed with this. I'm currently playing it back at 137. Previously discovered that tempo of 125, is going to be good. So let's hit that back. We're going to play this back at 125. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. But with byte beat, you know, as you change the pitch, if we were to create like a melodic sequence of that, the tempo also changes, which becomes problematic. So I can play back a couple other notes here. So you can hear, and this is the sequence I've created. This is a sequencer button down here. I'm going to hit play on that, and you should hear now, I mean, that's chaotic, and maybe that's what you're going after. Fine, that's cool. But what I'm going to demonstrate today, well, let's play them back together. You can see how it kind of sounds. So I'm going to hit this play button. It's going to start up both of these. It's kind of cool, right? But maybe you don't want that pitch to modulate with the tempo, or you want it to stay consistent with your beat. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold down shift. And so we found our incantation at C4. So what we want to do is turn on pitch scaling, and you do that by holding the shift button, and then you rotate the dark blue, and you'll see right next to the percentage there is where you're at with pitch scaling. And I'm going to say, well, we've discovered this at C4. So what happens now? Let's play them back together. Now that we've locked it to that timing boundary. So you can hear that the rhythmic content is being time stretched over those beats in relation to it being centered around C4. So maybe C4 doesn't work for you in your composition, or it's not what you like. So just remember that wherever you've made your discovery of that, the rhythm or the byte beat incantation that you're enjoying, lock your pitch scaling to that by holding the blue button and then turning the dark blue knob. So as you play it, there's artifacts there. I mean, the byte beats sort of resist being tempo stretched, and each incantation in there reacts differently to tempo stretching. Generally, the percussive content of it stays it shifts relative to wherever you've placed it, and that's good. The pitch content comes from different aspects of whatever math is inside the incantation, and sometimes it pitch stretches beautifully, and sometimes it does not. So I'm just going to hit play. I did a little short video earlier of me doing this, but I'm going to do it again. There's some different incantations. I'll switch it up. I'll demonstrate how you can have different incantations running in sequence on each side. So I'll just hit play and I'll show you what's going on.